WTWO's Beyond the Stands podcast is brought to you by Crow Equipment, Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore Insurance Associates. Here's your host, Rick Semmler.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Stands. Of course, I'm your host, Rick Semmler. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I last did a podcast. There's a reason for that. Some exciting news going on at WTWO and for myself. We just wrapped up year number 1 of Beyond the Stands. I did 70 podcasts, loved every one of them. Well, we've moved the podcast. We used to do them in downtown Terre Haute at our downtown studio at WTWO. We have moved them to Farmersburg and our WTWO station. This is our new digital podcast studio. It is gorgeous, showing it off here a little bit, and we'll be doing it more in the coming podcast. So there's a reason that I haven't had a podcast in a couple of weeks. We had to move everything. So I have on today a guest that's been on before. He's no stranger to the podcast. He's been on several times. I'm talking about Linton football head coach Brian Oliver. Coach, good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me here. I appreciate it being here, and it's quite a setup you have here now.
I was going to say, you were at the old setup, and it wasn't bad, but,
No.
you know, we're all about technology and moving up in the world. What do you think of this new place and being the first guest on the new podcast studio?
Well, it's a privilege to be the first guest here, and it's I like all the new technology you got going here, and it's quite a setup for this.
Now, it's a big day in the Oliver household. Before we get why we had him on, your daughter, 22nd birthday, happy birthday to her. Now, I've heard over the years that she's a daddy's girl. Is that true? I heard that daddy kind of babies her a little bit. Is that true?
I don't baby her. I take care of her.
Okay.
So, today's her 22nd birthday, and so pretty happy where she's at in her career. She's a senior at ISU, going to be graduating at the end of the year with an elementary degree. So she's got that residence program through Vigo County Schools, and so part of her time she's on campus ISU, and the other time she's at Riley Elementary. So we're looking forward to her coming home tonight, and we'll have dinner tonight and celebrate with her. So
now, when I say baby, maybe the other parent in the household says you maybe let her get away with more things than mom does. Is that true?
I take care of her. So I don't have to worry about much about her. She does her own thing, but I assist her on anything she usually needs. That's my job.
There you go. Now, she is a great girl. I saw her at the football game Friday night. She said hi. I always enjoy seeing her. So the big reason that we have Coach Oliver on Beyond the Stands, historic Friday for him last week. He became Linton's all-time leader in wins, picking up career win 129. I know you're a guy that absolutely does not like pub unless it's for your players or your team. We had talked about going into the game, the record, and you didn't want to talk about it very much, but you got the record. I guess, first of all, what does it mean to you to get that record?
Well, first of all, like you said, really was my wife's the one that really knew about it, and then you text me that day and it was like, how in the heck do you find that stuff out, Rick? and then I asked her, she goes, I didn't tell him anything. But no, it's a great honor. I mean, there's been a lot of great coaches before me. I go back to Charlie Carazia in his era through the 80s, and then Coach Wellington, who I played for, and then Coach Weber, who was after him. And I worked with Coach Wellington and Coach Weber, so I learned a lot from those two guys. But also, you look at it, I mean, I've had some great staff coaches. I mean, majority of my staff's been with me since day one. Coach Mark Jennings, him and I, we started coaching together in 1996, and so we've been some aspect working together every year except for 1 year when I was at Northview coaching. And then when Coach Jake, my offensive coordinator, and I've had a lot of these other guys just been with me since day one or for several years, so that's really helped out. But also I got some great dudes. I got some great players come out, work hard every single day, and they buy into what we tell them, and they go out and execute what we come up with, and we've been pretty fortunate to get some good wins over the years.
No surprise, always giving the pub to everybody else, and that's what makes you the coach and the guy that you are. But when you look at that, 129 wins in 13 seasons, averaging a little over 10 wins a season there, you are doing something at Linton. How proud are you of what you've established with that program?
Oh, I mean, 129 wins, that's quite an accomplishment over the years. We work hard, and our coaches work extremely hard, our players, and then we got great support from our community, and I've had some great administrators I've worked with over the years, and continue still working with some great administrators. We're a small school. We're a 2A school, but man, it's a great job in the southern part of the state. It's just a great opportunity to be able to coach at the school that I graduated from, and the support that we get from everybody. And we get a lot of buy-in from everybody, and we grind it out and we work hard, and it shows usually on a Friday night when we get some of these big wins.
You say that you take pride in what Linton football is, and you're a 2A school. Well, you know what? You may be a 2A school, but your success factor, I'd really put it up there with anybody. I mean, I know, Brownsburg, 6A and bigger, but the amount of success that Linton's had in the last 30 years can go with anybody in the state. How much do you guys, in that town of, I don't care if we're a small school, we'll take what we did. Not that you'll go out there and play them, but you'll take what the success you've had on the field against any other program in the state.
Well, yeah, we look at that. I mean, with us not being in a conference, we have a little bit more flexibility, at times more than I prefer, because, right now we got 3 openings for next year. So, we'll go out and play who we need to get us ready for the tournament, and if it happens to humble us and where you can learn from it, then so be it. Our goal is to get better every single week and get us ready for the playoffs, and because the 2A South is not a cupcake path to get to state, and we have to be able to get ourselves physically ready. We can go out and play a team and totally dominate them, and it looks good on paper, but we have poor technique and everything like that. So we have to be able to get pushed and get outside our comfort zone to be able to get what we want.
Do you like, and I mention all the time how successful, you're the standard in the Wabash Valley for high school football. A lot of people around the state know Linton football. Mm-hmm. Do you like that when people are like, oh yeah, we know about Linton football? Do you take a lot of pride in that?
I do. It's kind of funny. It's a joke that my wife, she always teases me about whenever we go on vacation or something like that, because obviously I wear a lot of my minor gear when we're out and about. And she's like, someone will always come up and say something, oh, Linton Minor. It's like, yep. And then we start talking, and they're like, sometimes I'll recognize if they don't know who I am, and then they're like, start talking about the program, and I act like I'm not the head coach, and just kind of see what people say and kind of go with the flow. So it's comical at that times, and usually majority of the time people's got good things to say about our program, which what means the most to us is that a lot of people have respect for what we do and how we do it, and that's the biggest plus for us. But it's always good to know that a lot of people know who we are. Even you said Brownsburg earlier. We played them this past summer in a 7-on-7 at the Colts thing, and talking to Coach Hart there, he knew a lot about us, and we were trying to figure out who they are. They're the real deal. It was fun. Our kids were like kind of a little nervous at first, and then awestruck whenever the first kid runs right past our best DB, and it's like, hey, sometimes they're better than you. So, but it was fun. But yeah, it's a great honor to be able to be recognized like that.
So in your 129 wins, I know you'll say everyone has their own place, but you won a state championship. You've been to 3 state finals. Does any win in particular, though, maybe stand out for you a little bit above the rest?
Yeah, I have a handful of them that I can really look at. I think the 30 losses over the years probably kept me up the latest. But my favorite win that I go back to and I reflect on the most is back in 2015 when we beat North Vermilion for the semi-state, to be able to go to state for the first time, because that was our 9th time being able to go to semi-state and not getting it done. Those group of seniors there was able to get us through and establish a new tradition for us, and a new standard for us. And that's one I kind of go back to a lot, because they were the first group to get us to state. And then that set the standard for the offseason and get us go back in 2016, which we were fortunate enough to win. So that one there is probably the top of my list that I would go back and enjoy watching. It's on YouTube, and watching the crowd that we had at the Linton, the respect that we had with North Vermilion. That was just a great atmosphere, a great game overall. And so, the other games there's several ones, but Brownstown last year and Lutheran are probably at the top 5 as well from last year. But there's several of those, but definitely North Vermilion in the 2015 semi-state was probably the top of my list.
I remember that North Vermilion game. There was about a 2-year stretch where some of the best football in the state was played between North Vermilion and Linton in the postseason. Just some incredible games. They won state in 2015 or 2014, and then you guys turned around and won it in 2016. Just some incredible football and during that span between two small schools. I want to thank the sponsors of the show: Crow Equipment Incorporated, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore Insurance Associates, and Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, building a higher standard award winner for quality and reliability you can depend on. Call Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, 765-832-9401. So you mentioned, in 15 winning that semi-state. I remember being at the game. I was also at other semi-state games over those years. You remember 9 times that you were at semi-state. Not only did you guys lose at semi-state, you guys lost in some cruel ways over the years at semi-state. I know you weren't always the coach for all those, but just be honest. Did you ever think there was a point that, it wasn't meant to be, that you guys were going to get to state? Like I said, there were times that you should have went to state and just lost in brutal ways at semi-state.
Yeah, you would think that we were cursed at some point with that, getting an extra point blocked or getting stopped on the 1-yard line, whether we're in or out. That's always a debate. It's going to be around for a long time, which we were in, by the way. And then just a lot of little things like that, being up in the fourth quarter against some really good teams like Indianapolis Ritter and Cecinas and things like that. Those were our issues that we just couldn't get past them for whatever reason. Things didn't go our way. And so we were pretty fortunate there to have success to make it to so many semi-states, but then finally be able to get through in 2015. That's probably why the North Vermilion games, like I said earlier, was at the top of my list for sure.
You mentioned the 30 losses. 129 and 30, which is, hilarious. You win all the time. But the 30 losses, do you have a loss maybe? You said, several of them keep you up, but maybe stood out more than others as a head coach that you really wish you could get that game back?
Oh. Maybe 2014 Sullivan game, maybe. They beat us there late in the game. That's probably one that kind of stood out to me a little bit there, but be honest with you, not a whole lot of them other than that. They all have their different reasons why we lost or whatever, and we learn from them and move on. But the heartbreaking one there, that's because we had the lead in the fourth quarter and we let some plays happen where they got the ball and they drove down and scored on us late, which was credit to them. But I would say any of those modern day ones also, those are ones that whatever reason we just couldn't get past them either. And so any of those, I think we got an opportunity, because that 1 year they beat us in the sectional by 1 point when we had the 2-point conversion and it got called for a holding. It had no relevance in the play whatsoever, and then we ended up losing by 1. They go to state that year and win. So those are the ones that kind of stood out to you as like what ifs. And then even like the Southmont game a few years ago, losing to them in overtime, that was kind of one that stung with me for a little bit as well.
Now, I mentioned you set the all-time wins record Friday night when Linton beat Boonville 46-14. You've coached so many guys. How many guys have you heard from? Former players, former coaches. Coach Weber, who you broke his record. Have you heard from all the guys, and what did everybody tell you?
Yeah, I had a lot of people texting me over the weekend or sending me different messages. Coach Weber texted me that night and congratulated me because he had his own game at Marshall, which he's doing really well now, which is great to see. And I had several former players, and we had actually Tyler Muir, who played for me when we won state in 2016. He had his wedding reception Saturday night, so it was a little bit of reunion there, seeing a lot of those guys and talking to me, and then reliving a lot of those plays and those moments was good. And, I had one of my guys who's in the Navy on the East Coast, Bo Wheaton. He texted me because he was one of my first guys. He was congratulating me. So it's always fun to get and an honor to get those guys that always text you and congratulate you on something as big as this was.
One thing I respect the heck out of you that you do with your program, your son plays for you, but I know you've had other relations play for you as well, but you treat every kid like their family. Yeah. How important is that to you as a coach?
Well, before every game I'll go around and hug as many of those starters as I can and just tell them certain things. And the last thing I always tell them is I love them, go out there and play your best. And so that's pretty important to me. I want them to be able to trust me and have a relationship with me that they feel comfortable to go out there and perform to their best. And that's kind of what we do. I have 8 great coaches that go out and have different personalities, and we try to treat it that way, and that way that we can go out there and build that family atmosphere, and that way they want to play for one another and play for us, and they're going to do that buy-in that we're looking for at that point in time. So that's big for us. And I've coached 2 nephews, and I actually got a 3rd one on the team now, and I got Paul. We try to treat them all the same. Our philosophy is we're always going to play our best 11 no matter who you are. We don't do politics. Politics don't help you win football games. It's their best 11 that wins football games.
Love hearing that in today's age. You speak of your nephews, and then obviously your son, Paul Oliver, standout player, going to Indiana State next year. Is it extra special breaking the record his senior year with him on the team?
Yeah, that definitely, he had no idea either. So having him on the team, it just makes it special. Having him out there for that moment and getting the pictures and stuff together, it's just something else that we can share down the line with his kids and stuff like that. That's just an important part for us, and we didn't make a big deal of it with that, and he didn't. Like I said, he had no clue what was going on either. But it's just another great opportunity and a great memory that we can share down the road.
So, how was that father-son relationship when he found out? Did he say you owe him credit for getting you some wins?
No, he didn't. He just kind of said congratulations, and that was about it. He's not much for words at times, and so which is fine. But he was pretty ecstatic overall just because we got a big win against Boonville. And so he would just said congratulations and gave a hug, and we kind of went on our way.
No, you talked about it. You try to talk to players before the games, the starters, give them hugs, that kind of stuff. One of the things I've been lucky, I've known you for 22 years here, 13 as the head coach at Linton, and you're a great football coach, and I'm lucky to be able to call you a friend, but you're a better person. I can't tell you the amount of times that people don't know this on Friday nights or any time something happens in the area, and you'll text me, not wanting to be nosy, but like, hey, is this person okay, or this situation? And like, I remember when North Vermilion had their tragic accident and players were killed, you took your Linton football team up there to the showing. You've done that at other places. You've taken your program to other sports to support other teams. How important is it for you that you're not only coaching these guys, but you're trying to raise young men to do the right thing in life?
Well, this world's messed up, and our kids are our future, and we try to do our best to guide them in the best direction we possibly can. We're not perfect on a lot of things, and football is a tough sport, and so when things happen at other teams, we always try to offer our support the best we can. And sometimes it might be going to visiting them or saying prayers for them. There's a lot of different things that we do. Once again, we don't publicize a lot of that stuff with these people like that. When someone gets hurt, that's always a concern. Like the one recently with the West Vigo kid who was kind of concerned because you didn't know anything. You were thinking everything bad that you looked on social media. And so you never want to see anybody get hurt or anything like that. So we're just trying to go out and do the right thing best we can and support one another in the area because, once again, football is a real close network of coaches and players in the area. And I think for the most part we're all here to support one another.
Again, I want to thank our sponsors of the show, Crow Equipment Incorporated, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore and Church Associates, Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning. And also, remember, you can follow Beyond the Stands on Spotify, CastBox, Pocket Cast, iHeartRadio, and always on WTWO's website, mywabashvalley.com. Okay, so we've talked so much about your record and everything else and past, and I know you hate that because you're not about yourself, you're about a team. So let's talk about this year's team. You talk about being humbled earlier in the podcast. You've been humbled a couple times this year. 3-2, that's not normal Linton record, but those 2 losses came from Corbin, Kentucky, a great team down in the eastern part of Kentucky, and you lost to Kettering, Ohio, a great team over in Ohio. Just talk about playing those games and what they're doing for you guys.
Well, you look at that week 1, Corbin, Kentucky. That was a pigskin classic. So we played on a Saturday. We traveled Friday and stayed in a hotel Friday, played the game Saturday and stayed in a hotel again and then traveled home. So you look there, our kids, I've never been a fan of taking 50-some high school kids and put them in a hotel room and coaches and trying to keep them all corralled. But we were able to do that, and it gained a lot of experience for the kids, and it was a great atmosphere. We came out playing really well, and then we just kind of wore ourselves out. I don't know if it was from traveling or what, but a great facility. We can see our potential, what we could have done in that first half. And then playing the Altar from Ohio, that's the best team we played so far this year. They come out and had a great quarterback and some great skill guys. Once again, it just figure out who can play on Friday nights and who needs more improvement in practice and stuff. So we learned a lot about ourselves in that one there. I don't think that's the first time we've been shut out in a while, so we kind of took that a little personal as well, especially at home. And we just able to learn a lot from those. And, yeah, being 3-2 isn't ideal, but like we keep telling the kids, trust the process, focus on our end goal. That's what we're working for. And, I mean, this Friday we played North Decatur. I think they're number 1 in 1A. They're a 1A school, but they're ranked number 1, and they're a very good team. So we're definitely got our hands full again this week. We got to grind it out every single day and try to get better every single day.
You speak of playing North Decatur. That was my next question. They are number 1 in 1A. Win or lose, obviously you want to win, but how eager are you to see that, from the Linton team you saw in week 1 and 2 to the Linton team that you're going to see in week 6 and how they compete?
Well, that's what we want to see, just their continued progress. Last week against Boonville, we started out a little shaky in the first quarter, but then we turned it on after that. And we just want to continue to keep seeing that improvement every single game. A different aspect of the game, getting better, whether it's our tackling, our pursuit, our blocking, just different things like that we want to keep progressing on. And we talk about it every Monday. What's our focus this week? These are things we need to focus on this week as a team. And it might be as simple as, like I said, pursuit or getting your footwork or getting the right assignments or getting ourselves in the right positions. Some just little things and communication. I mean, just little things like that that's going to help us, and we can get those little things done, then that'll definitely be beneficial come November.
Sounds funny to say this. I know schools want to go 9-0 in the regular season, but you guys don't care about that because you have goals in November. I mean, but not everybody has that. So how much do you feel what you're doing now will truly make you ready? You went to state last year. You finished state runner-up. You're taking your lumps here early against very good teams. How much do you feel this is going to help you guys make another deep postseason run come November?
Well, that's what we're hoping it does. I mean, that's what we're preaching to the kids, and because you can see the results from last year, that's what helped us. And so it doesn't it helps us in a way to get us ready physically because you got to be able to see what we can do. Because, like I said, our sectional, I mean, you got us, you got Sullivan, you got Greencastle, North Posey. Those are the 4 on paper right now, the top teams, it seems like. And then after that, I mean, Brownstown Central's waiting for us in the regionals, whoever makes it out of our sectional. And then after that, I mean, you got possibly Lutheran there. So, and whoever else comes out of that area. So there's a lot of good teams in the southern part of the state, and those are no cupcakes. I mean, whoever gets out of our sectional, Brownstown Central is the real deal. They didn't lose very many kids from last year. And so we just got to get ourselves ready, and we got to see what dudes can play on a Friday night and get the job done.
Speak of dudes playing on Friday nights, again, you don't like pub, and you don't like to pub Paul up too much, but he is arguably the most talented player in the Wabash Valley. His son, Paul Oliver, a senior, 6'5", is that right?
6'4".
6'4". He looks like a man among boys, having a monster season. Kind of moved him to quarterback recently, back-to-back 5 touchdown games. He's playing incredible. 2 questions here. First of all, just talk about, do you feel Paul has taken his game to another level here recently?
Well, he definitely has. He trained extremely hard in the off season. Even during basketball season, after basketball season, he wanted to gain weight. He knows that he has to be a certain weight when he goes into the end of state. So he's trained extremely hard with one of my assistant coaches, Jacob Burris, on the side, and did different things to help him get himself ready to go. And that's been really beneficial for him. So he's gotten faster, he's gotten bigger at the same time. And so he's definitely picked it up. I mean, we had him out at wide receiver and tight end a little bit, and so last few games we moved him at QB. And we still have different things in our toolbox where we can still put him outside if we needed to and bring Russell back in. It's a different look. I mean, we just go a little bit more of a power game. But then last week he was able to throw the ball a little bit more because Boonville started stacking the box and we was able to throw it. And so those are things we're going to have to do and continue to work on as our passing game to be able to open things up. Because if not, then they'll stack the box and then we'll have to grind it out, which, I mean, if we can do that, we'll do our best to do that as well.
Now, as a parent, I understand this, especially I just sent my first off to college. You know, it goes so fast, and you only get so much time with them. You got front row seats to Paul playing football, being his coach. Is it starting to hit you, Dad, that, he's halfway through his senior season? Do you find moments, I know you're coaching other guys and coaching the Linton Miners, but do you find moments where, you're watching your son in his senior year playing football?
I reflect more of that on probably a Saturday because on Friday night I try to watch so much other stuff that I don't fully see that. I mean, Coach Jake calls the offense. I don't sit down there and I don't want to know what the play is. I try to guess what's coming up so I can see if he's being predictable or something like that. And sometimes I just know what's going on, but I don't wear the headset. I don't know what the play is called at that point in time. And so I just kind of watch the whole play, and sometimes I get to watch and admire it, but when I go back and watch film, then we can do that and have those conversations with him. But we do know that it's the season. We just talked about it last week about how it's the regular season's about over. You're only guaranteed so many more games, so it's time to buckle up and let's get some things done. And so it's fun to be able to sit back and watch on different things. I mean, just like that pass that he did the other night where he rolled around, and I was yelling, just run, and he turns around and he chucks it. I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go. But he ended up throwing the touchdown because I did not see Russell back there in the corner. So, and it was just a great play. I mean, we always preach to our guys, don't make a bad play worse, and that's what I was afraid he was doing at that point in time. And so, but it worked out, and I mean, that's just fun at times to watch him do his thing, and I get to admire it from a distance at times too.
Is it going to be weird? I mean, I remember, like I said, I've covered you guys for 22 years, and I mean, he's just 18 years old, but like him on the sidelines as a little kid, like next year he won't be on that sidelines no matter what. Is that going to be weird for you a little bit?
It will be a little weird there because ever since I've been involved and started becoming head coach in 2013, he hasn't missed a practice really. Besides, unless he had his own youth practice or junior high practice, he was always there for a little bit of it at some point. Now, he never was a big fan standing on the sidelines until he got in junior high because he always wanted to run around and play with his buddies. But he was able to come out and experience a lot of with the older kids. And it's funny, like even when I was talking about hanging out with a lot of the guys Saturday night, they were saying how he was just out there a short guy, and then now as big as he is now, it's kind of like it's pretty neat how he's been able to mature up to that where he's at now. But it definitely will be different. I coached long before him, and I plan to keep coaching as long as I enjoy it, and I'm still wanted. Like I said, it's one of the best jobs in the state, in my opinion, with a great group of kids, and great community, and great administration to work for. It'll be different, but I'm looking forward to see what he can do at Indiana State next year.
Well, I'm glad you want to keep coaching. Let's be honest, that we need more Brian Olivers in the world, a great coach, and an even better person. So I know you don't like all the pub, but again, congratulations on becoming Linton's all-time wins leader, 129 and counting. What I think the record in the state's 400 and something. You're gonna
whatever Bud Wright has.
Bud Wright. It's like 460, I think, 470, somewhere around there. Yeah. Are we gonna try to go for that?
Probably not. We'll see. I'll have to have a long stretch there, but it took me this long to get there. I don't know if I'll be able to get up there because I think he coached until his mid-80s. I plan to retire and enjoy some things. I mean, ideally one day I'd love to be able just to hand it off to maybe Paul or one of my nephews, Hunter or Hank, and then I can kind of sit back and enjoy it and watch them do it and help assist and kind of not have to worry about all the other little things that head coaches have to deal with and just kind of mentor them and then still being part of it. Because, like I said, I started coaching right out of high school in 1996 with Coach Wellington, and I've been doing it ever since, and I couldn't imagine not doing anything on a Friday night besides coaching.
I get it. There's something special on Friday nights about Friday Night Lights. So, Coach, again, congratulations on becoming Linton's all-time wins leader in football with 129. I appreciate everybody tuning in to our new podcast studio here at WTWO. We're back at Farmersburg after being in downtown Terre Haute for a while. We'll continue to show more and more of the podcast room, but excited to have Beyond the Stands back up and going. That does it for this edition.
WTWO's Beyond the Stands podcast is brought to you by Crow Equipment, Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore Insurance Associates. Catch this episode again and more of Rick's interviews online at mywabashvalley.com.